feminazi is it's disappointing that not only that does that exist, but that people still think it's okay to use it, because I care about like things that everyone should care about. We get this really aggressive term that's super offensive.
Okay, why are women seen as bossy when they're assertive? But also, why are men only allowed in our society still to have a very specific range of emotions?
There are parts of this country where like this is still kind of a dirty word. So I think the real issue there is that kind of getting everyone on the same page.
I define feminism as the belief that every human should have autonomy over their own body, their life, and I guess their choices in life.
My personal definition of feminism, I think, would start with sort of the broad macro scale, which is, promoting equality for women, men, everyone, really.
To me, like, being a feminist just means, like, wanting, like, gender equality and, like, actively living your life.
I have no definition of it. I just know that I have experienced prejudice and decided to do something about it.
I still haven't totally found one succinct, perfect definition, and that's kind of one of the things that's, I think, hard about feminism is like you either end up simplifying it so much. A lot of times people just say, like, I believe everyone should have equal rights. That's a good definition, but right, it's not quite specific enough all the time.
Just anyone who wants to be a part of feminism is actually a part of it. I think that there's a lot of segmentation in it. And I think that now the next step is really making sure that we're hearing everyone and not speaking for other people who we want to be included in the conversation, but rather being advocates and allies and like letting their voices be heard.
I actually think that adopting the label of feminist now, my impression of it is that it's maybe as popular as it's ever been. You have all these celebrities who are now having to comment on whether or not they consider themselves feminists, and I call it kind of Beyonce feminism, right?
But we have a huge glass ceiling that has yet to be broken.
I'm a feminist because I believe in, like, equality between the genders, and that women deserve equal pay for equal work, and like all of the like very obvious things.
Women are still making way less money than men across the board. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. It doesn't matter if you're a famous actress. It doesn't matter if you're an engineer. It doesn't matter if you're a writer. Women are making less money.
When I worked in the corporate world, I replaced somebody, had double the responsibility of him, and made 60% of his salary. The fact that issues still remain 20 years later, I decided to do something about it.
I think women can't accept lower wages. That's the bottom line. And I think women have to be able to communicate why they're not going to accept that lower wage and what is it that they contribute to the table and what their accomplishments are that earn them the right to get that wage.
We saw recently with Jennifer Lawrence kind of making a huge push regarding the wage gap. For once, she's making more money than her co-star, Chris Pratt, and they're both kind of, if you're looking at them, they're both A-list people, they're both people who carry blockbusters, and the fact that her making more money than him on a film was like front page news is crazy.
So we focus on women because there's a funding gap for women-led startups. Only 4% of the companies funded by venture capital were companies that were led by women. That's gone from 13% and 8% in previous years all the way down to 4%. We're going backwards.
Babson College several years ago did some research and found out that if women were financed to the same degree, women entrepreneurs were financed to the same degree as men, 6 million more jobs would be created over the next 5 years. Women, one of the big challenges for women is that they're not seeking capital to the same degree as men. So as a result, their companies are going to be smaller, both in terms of revenue and number of employees, and even profit margins. Smaller companies are going to have lower profit margins.
Women aren't asking for money. Women aren't going out there and asking for money. They're not in the network. And there's also the obvious confidence gap, which is, can I go out there and raise $20 million? Can I really do it? It's a priority for us to invest our time and potentially our money in companies that have women in leadership roles.
Part of it is inspirational, so giving women lots of role models of other women who have actually done it.
I'm a firm believer that women need a community to support them in this growth, that it's not going to happen on an individual basis.
Community is essential. Anytime you're going a little bit off the beaten path, community is really important, because otherwise you sit there saying, am I insane?
And one of the big things that I found is that the most successful women don't do it alone.
Yeah, I mean, we're a lot stronger together than getting caught up tearing each other down.
Find a community, and it can't be just all women, it can't be just all men, but it's got to be both. Going it alone is really difficult.
Find a mentor, dress for success, and network like hell, and find a community of like-minded people. Get friends, get friends in your art, whatever your art is, get friends in it, and so you can share information. Like they'll say, oh, the grant is coming out, they're giving $50,000 from Arojo. So you know about that. You don't know what you don't know.
Take some risks, don't be afraid to fail, and find a community of people to do it with.